Good evening. I've been getting questions from a lot of people about what actually took place, the events that surrounded me getting my transplant. I've told people it was a miracle, and it is. But I thought maybe today is the day that I explain exactly what happened, how it came about, for those of you who keep emailing and asking me. It was 1 month ago today. Actually, it'd be 1 month ago yesterday um, that I was out with my wife and I were out and we met up with some friends. We all were getting ready to leave, and right before we walked out the door, I bumped into one of my friends again, and he said, "Hey, can I talk to you?" And I said, "Sure." He said, I know this family. Their their son got hit by a car. You might have saw it in the paper." And I said, "Yeah, Kentwood, I saw that." And he said, "Well, he's on life support. He might not make it." And the family said if he didn't make it, they were probably going to donate his organs. And he said to me, "Do you mind if I ask the family if he's a blood type match with you?" I said, "Yeah. You know, I've been waiting for 2 years to get a transplant. My health was getting worse. I was getting weaker, more tired, more yellow. Friends around me telling me they didn't think I was going to make it. I didn't think I was going to make it. And you know something? My wife didn't think I was going to make it. We had hope, but we also had reality. So I said yes to my friend. The very next morning, which would have been a month ago today, the very next morning, I get a phone call that said, from my friend, that said he passed. And the family wanted my name, social security number, and what hospital I was going to for, my transplant related stuff. And I gave it to them, figuring, there was still going to be a while before they find out anything about matches or anything else. A couple hours later, now remember, this is less than 24 hours after the initial conversation, that brief little 30-second snippet of a conversation that could easily never have happened if we wouldn't have bumped into each other again. Less than 24 hours, I'm getting a phone call from Henry Ford saying, "We have a match. A family wants to directly donate a liver to you. Get ready." A few hours after that, we were on our way to Detroit. 5 o'clock Monday morning, I'm in a wheelchair in the hospital. Next thing you know, I'm in a bed for surgery prep. And I says, "When are we doing this?" And they said, "Well, we have to wait for the liver to get here. The doctors flew to Grand Rapids to get it." My wife, my cousin, and I were all sitting there waiting. All of a sudden, it's kind of funny, but all of a sudden we can hear a helicopter go over the hospital. And my cousin Barb went, "Maybe that's your liver." Yeah, well, that'd be great, wouldn't it? It was. A little while later, they came in, wheeled me into the operating room. They told me how long the operation was going to last. They told me when I woke up, I was to expect to have a breathing tube in me. I was told I'd have several drainage ports in me, and that I'd be in intensive care up to a week. That night, I awoke after the surgery, pretty much as you see me right now. with the exception of a direct IV into my jugular vein in my neck. You can still see the red spot there where they had the needle shoved in. That was there for a few days. I was told that I was one of the only patients to come out of surgery without a breathing tube and without drainage ports. I was told that my recovery was miraculous. I had a nurse say that in her 25 years, she had never seen a transplant go as smoothly, with as less complications, and without a breathing tube and drainage tubes in her career. Doctors walked in and said, "When was your surgery?" "Yesterday, 2 days ago." And they were amazed. Now, they told me I was supposed to be in intensive care for up to a week. I was in intensive care for 30 hours. The only reason I was there 30 hours is because they couldn't find a regular bed for me. I was home. I was home the following Monday, 1 week exactly from a life-saving liver transplant. I was home. They told me to expect, they told us at first to go out and buy ourselves a 9x11 baking pan. I would need one that big to house all the prescriptions I would be on. I left the hospital with 7 prescriptions pertaining to my liver. There were other prescriptions, but it's an antacid and aspirin and, a couple other things I was already taking. And I was to go to Detroit twice a week, every week, for a while. I went on my second visit. I was told I only need to go every 2 weeks. Soon it'll be once a month, then once every other month, then once every 6 months. That time's coming quick. Why am I telling you all this? Why did I title this a miracle? Because it was. There are people out there that debate the existence of God and say, or they use science to say this is, there's no God, this is how it happened. And you know something? I believe in fate. I believe your entire life can change if you miss a bus. I truly do. You turn a corner at the wrong time, and maybe your life doesn't take the same path. The fact that I bumped into that friend at the exact right time, the exact right place, the fact that we were brought together was divine intervention. The fact that another friend of mine, a couple months before that, woke up. Now, this is a guy that wasn't a friend of mine at the time. He knew my name, but didn't know who I was. He woke up one morning, a couple months before this, to God telling him he needed to pray with me, not just for me, but he needed to get me and pray. That nagging feeling was in him the whole morning when he's going, I don't even know this guy. Still, the message kept coming. You need to get Leonard, and you need to sit down, and you need to pray with him. You know something he did? He's become an extremely good friend, because I believe the last couple of months was God saying, look, we're getting close. You need to help him get a little stronger in the spirit. And then God said, you know something, it's time. You see, I was supposed to have a transplant once before. 4 days before the surgery, it fell through. I had a lot of people go get tested to see if they could be donors. None of them worked. I had recently gone from 7th on the transplant list down to 13th. I'd gone backwards, which meant more time. And I really thought, I was scared. I wasn't going to make it, and I knew it. My wife and I had already gone out and purchased a plot. We, we were prepared. And then this happened. This was nothing short of the work of God. If you don't believe it, I feel sorry for you, because I've never been more sure of anything in my life. I've never been more touched, more amazed by anything in my life. Ben, I'm not going to give you his details, but the gentleman who passed, who gave me his liver, his name is Ben. I always found that ironic, because growing up, my nickname was Ben. I went in the Marine Corps. Everyone called me Ben. And now, the gentleman who, I wanted to say had a hand in saving my life, when I guess technically had a liver in saving my life. No pun intended. Bad joke, bad joke. His name is Ben, and he's inside me, and he's keeping me alive. I will never let him down. I'll never forget the miracle that God put to me. I'll never forget the people he put in my path to make this happen. I've had encouragement from a lot of people all over, and I got to tell you something right now. Ashley Gold from Hardcore Pawn has become, her and her dad Les have become extremely good friends of ours. Ashley had put out on her page and Twitter and Facebook a few times, I have a guy that needs your help. He needs a liver. I've had people from all over this country and other countries who get that show, who go to their pages, say, how can I help? You know how amazing that was. That kept me fighting. I told her that today. She said, oh, I'm so happy for you. I'm like, well, something you got to remember, Ashley. Your encouragement kept me fighting, and it truly did. The encouragement of my friends and my family. Because I was always say to them, it's in God's hands. It'll be fine. What I really thought was, my life's now in God's hands. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it. I did. I left that hospital in a week with no tubes, no nothing. 7 prescriptions, one of which has been reduced already. Another was taken away. And I'm doing amazing. But I know why. I know this was a gift from God to give me a second chance at life. I hurt and I ache for the family of Ben. Part of me, I got to be honest, part of me feels guilty that he had to lose his life for me to gain mine. But then I had some people a lot smarter than me that said, you had no hand in his fate. God had a hand in his fate. Found out he's the type of person who loved to help other people. What a way to do it. I used to always say all the time when I went through EMT school, when I was in the Marines, I don't have a problem dying for somebody else, as long as I can do some good and save somebody. That's what this guy did. And that's what God brought to me. He knew when it was right. And instead of getting a liver that may have failed, or something that may have not worked right or had complications, he waited until there was an absolute perfect match. There was 0 wrong with this liver. It was perfect for me. It fell right into place. It started functioning immediately. And it hasn't let me down yet. I lost a lot of weight. Starting to get some of it back, which is good because I was looking a little bit, too skinny. I may still be that way, but who cares? But please, for those of you who don't understand miracles, that's what this is. Wasn't my doing, wasn't anyone else's doing. It was a lot of prayers from a lot of people, and it was God that said, you know something? It's time. Everyone kept telling me I've got more to do on this earth. But I've done so much good, I need to do more. I guess I was right, because here I am. Thank you, God. Thanks, Ben. I want to let you in a little secret. I I looked up a phone number today. I didn't know if it was the right one or not, but as soon as I saw it, and I can't tell you who it's for, you might guess, but as soon as I saw it, my body started reacting in a really weird way. My inside started jumping around. That doesn't happen to me, but it did. Made me feel that I found the right number. I'm too afraid to dial it right now, but I'm going to at some point, because I know they want to speak to me and I want to speak to them, but it's all about timing and it's all about respect at this point. But I think I got the right one because I think Ben let me know. Thank you to everyone for your prayers, your support. The prayers really helped. For those of you who wonder if God really listens, He does. Because I wouldn't be alive much longer if He didn't. Thank you all. Thank God. Thank Ben. Thank the friends I have. It's no such thing as coincidences. This is something God wanted to have happen. This is the definition of a miracle. Believe it. I'm living proof. I am living proof. Good night.